sides of his hand, that card gets closed. Yes, sir.
Now, one of the things that Mr. Norris did teach me is he would say, what you do with your left hand, you should be able to do with your right hand.
Sir.
What you do with your left leg, you should be able to do with your
Right
leg.
hand.
So it might not be quite as good, but you should at least be able to use it as a tool. Okay, so everybody should have switched feet. Same thing going on the opposite side. Ready?
Sir.
1, 2, 3, 4. Other sides now. Here. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we're going to work on one other thing. Mr. Ingram, if I could use your hand
Here.
All right.
All right, what I'm seeing is your shoulder going and then your hand going. I see that shoulder going, you're going to get knocked out right there. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I wasn't going to tell the story, but I think I'm going to anyway.
That's why I
Earlier,
like him so much. He remembers all this stuff.
well, you'll remember this one. Earlier, we were talking about doing something historical next year, of which we'd put some historical things up. And they were talking about using Mr. Norris's belt that he run the Triple Crown on, and various different things. And I said, well, I'll donate a uniform that has my blood on it after Mr. Ingram hit me. Mr. Prieto was talking about keeping your hands up. Mr. Norris talked about keeping your hands up. Mr. Ingram and I were fighting one time. He had come back from the Army. And I hope I remember the way you do. And I was doing fairly decent. Now, Mr.
No, he was kicking my rear end, and that didn't happen before. I could always beat up Mr. Gallagher. I mean, it wasn't easy. But I came back, and he had just tested for a second degree, and I was in the Army, and I wasn't training like I should have been. But Mr. Gallagher was just kicking my rear end.
And you know, he was actually my instructor when I got my black belt. So all of a sudden I found myself getting some great points. So in my mind, I left the fight. And I'm thinking, wow, this feels really good. Payback is fun. And I was using those reverse punches. So as I was reverse punching, actually it was this way here. I was reverse punching, he spun. I'm thinking about how good I'm looking. Yeah, I'm saying to myself, Gallagher, you are looking good.
And the thing about it is, he moved so fast, he got inside that I thought he was over here. Actually, he was over here.
Now, I woke up some minutes later, and I remember looking down and thinking, whose blood is that? And I go to the hospital. 7 stitches over the left eye, and my nose was broke according to the X-ray 4 times. Matter of fact, the doctor came in, and I said, "My nose broke." I was in the emergency room, and he puts up the X-rays, and he takes out his pen, and he goes, "Did you see that break?" And I said, "Yes." He goes, "Did you see that line?" I go, "Yes." He goes, "That's one break." He goes, "See that other line?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "That's another break." and I've been having a good nose, so I think, oh, that's kind of cool. And then he goes, "But do you see that other line?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "That's another break." And then he goes, "Now that other one is either an old break or a new break." So, what is the point? When you're going in, stay where? In the fight. Okay. Even if you're looking good, admire yourself on film later, not in the ring. Okay. So as you go in, this hand is immediately going to be here to protect myself. Okay. But I want to get to a leg technique. Now, most open tournaments now do not allow groin techniques. We do here. Some open tournaments still will. Okay. But I'm going to teach one for 2 reasons. Number 1, it's still used in our tournament, and it can be a very, very good technique. Number 2, self-defense. Because we don't just take martial arts for tournaments, do we?
No, sir.
Okay. You know, I mean, sometimes people say, well, tournament fighters, they don't know how to fight in the street. That's baloney.
No, that's baloney.
Would anybody ever want to face Mr. Wright in the street?
No, sir. No, sir.
I wouldn't under any condition. You can pay me to do that. Okay? So, that we know that's baloney. Okay.
And the first thing you tell your partner when you're doing these groin techniques is whether or not you have a cut. And I
Yes.
don't.
You don't have one? Oh, payback is fun. Now I want to cover the distance a little bit differently. We talked about when we take that back foot.
Mr. Gallagher,
Yes.
Mr. Cochran has a cup on. Do you like Mr. Zoom?
Oh, yeah.
Power.
Yeah, go ahead, Vince.
You only.
The other thing, okay. Hey, what did we say
Hey,
about
that's a
smart?
third power.
What did we say about smart
Smart
fighters?
fighters.
Okay, so the other thing is you're going to want to make sure you turn that foot somewhat forward, okay? You're not going to want to be back here because I'm going to actually explode forward with my technique. But what I'm going to do is I'm not going to come up here and keep my hips under me and throw that kick for two reasons. Number one, if we had a pad here, which we do have some pads, but if I had a pad here, there would not be a lot of power in that technique, would there? No. What's going to create the power is the hip. So, as I come in, and feel free to block me. As I come in, this hip's going to explode forward here. Boom! And the hip's going to lead. But it's also to keep him away from me. I don't want to be kicking in here close. He's going to counter very, very, very strong and very fast. So I want to keep my body back. So it's coming in this way here. Keeping my body back away from him. So we're going to practice with a partner, but don't actually kick on this one. Hey, on this one, you'll be left leg to left leg. Ready?